This is the After Party, live with Kim McAllister. Pick a couch, grab a drink, and settle into the conversation.
Oh, it is a Friday on the After Party Live, and that can only mean one thing. Tim Sika is on the way. He will be talking about movies, some streaming options. He's got his classic movie recommendation of the week. So excited to welcome him to the show. Before I do, though, yesterday I had taped the show, and I'm hoping trivia went okay for everyone. Kind of had to be done, so I hope it worked out well. I just wanted to tell you that I'm sorry that I couldn't be here live to do it, but something exciting happened yesterday. I had to drive to a field trip and got to spend time with my 11-year-old son, Jacob, and his fifth grade class. And someone who lived in the area heard me and came to stop by the ice skating rink and visit. And it was the coolest moment when I turned around to a tap on the shoulder, and there they were, Ren and Cameo, stopping by. There's Jacob, and there's Ren in the pink, and Cameo with the Giants hat. And they stopped by and we had a little chat. They didn't stay for long. They just live in the area and swung by to say hello. And I was so happy to see them. So that was a cool thing that happened yesterday. I absolutely loved it. We took a little selfie as well. Cameo has nice long arms, and we all three got in the shot. So that was kind of fun. There we are at the ice skating rink. Yeah, how cool. Very nice to see partiers in the wild. So Cameo and Ren, thank you for stopping by. You guys are super awesome. Something else super awesome on the After Party Live every Friday. Yeah, it comes to us at the movies with Tim Sika.
Oh boy.
Here he is. Oh boy. Oh no.
Oh, Kim, Kim, you're a celebrity.
No.
People recognize you in public. What are you going to do, right? Yeah.
No. At the movies with Tim Sika. This is Kim. How can I help you?
Yeah.
I wish I could answer. So yeah, the celebrity thing, not so much, but it's really nice to see people that like the show. And it's kind of a cool moment. So
definitely. Yeah. Absolutely. Yeah. Cool.
Yeah. Well, welcome to the After Party Live on your Friday appearance. You are very popular too. People tune in. They can't wait to see what your classic rec of the week is. So.
Oh, geez.
Hey,
Okay, well, that's great. Yeah, I love it.
Before we dig into the movies, I don't remember whether you reviewed this or not, but I saw a movie this week. I was doing laundry, and I wanted to click on something that, I didn't really care about. I ended up getting really into this movie, Tim. It's streaming on Netflix.
Really?
It's called Life List, The Life List.
Oh, no. Tell me about it. I have not seen it, and I've not heard of it. So
I laughed. I cried. I was like, I didn't want to stay up, but I ended up staying up to watch this movie. So good. It's about this girl, this young woman, who, and she has two brothers, and it's about how her mom dies and what they leave each child, what the mother leaves each child in the will. And it's a lot about relationships, and these things, and family, and finding who you are, and that type of thing.
Yeah.
She wrote a list. Go ahead.
When the excuse me for interrupting you, but when they read the will, does it create like this firestorm of like bad feeling amongst the people named in the will?
It creates a firestorm of bad feelings with the young woman involved.
Yeah, I see.
When she was 13, she wrote this life list, and her mom found it and said, "You've lost your way. You've lost who you are. Go do all these things. And at each time, I'm going to give you a DVD video, and I'll tell you what's next, or I'll tell you, you'll get a video from me every time."
Oh, that's an interesting premise. Yeah.
I won't tell you what she gets at the end of it, but just the journey she takes along the way, and the relationships she creates, and the dialogue, really, really good. It's streaming on Netflix. It's called The Life List.
Okay, so is it a movie or a series?
It's a movie.
Okay, all right, I'll check it out. I just jotted it down, put it on my list.
It is
There's
it is rom-com-y, I will say that, but it's more than just a rom-com.
yeah,
So,
yeah.
yeah.
Well, so much to watch. I say that at
Yeah.
least 10 times a day. When when I've spent the week watching films and series and stuff, and the one thing that people ask me, "Have you seen this?" I'm going, "No, I have
Well,
not seen that." So this is one of those, but it sounds good. I'll definitely check it out and tell you what I think next week.
yes, please do. Please
Okay.
do.
All right. All
But
right.
until then, I have to go see this one, and so does everybody else probably that has an 11-year-old son.
Oh yeah, yeah. You're just taking some words out of my mouth here. Yeah,
Mhm.
a number of smaller movies open this week, which I still have to get to, but at least we'll include a couple of those this week. But the other ones maybe pending, but for now, well, yeah. Let's begin and start with the big studio
Yeah.
release of the week, which is the Minecraft movie. This is a family-friendly fantasy film adventure movie based on the 2011 video game, and it stars Jason Momoa. There he is. They're all these people are in the poster. Jason Momoa, Jack Black. Momoa plays this character called the Garbage Man, who's the owner of a video game store. Jack Black plays an expert crafter. Oh, and Jennifer Coolidge is in this too. She plays the vice principal of the main kid who's there in this story to appeal to the pre-adolescent boy, probably the target audience, the main audience for this movie. You mentioned your 11-year-old son,
Yeah.
Jacob. Yeah, this is
Mhm.
who they made this movie for. As I mentioned, it's based on the video game Minecraft. So it involves entering other worlds like the overworld and the netherworld and all kinds of other worlds. And the plot also has something to do with this orb that has to stay concealed and hidden so that the overlord's going to be safe or something. Anyway, I've never played Minecraft. And when I told that once to my students, they were just appalled, right? What? You've never played Minecraft? So it's difficult to know if this movie does service to the game. From what I can tell, though, the game itself is kind of clever and requires a certain degree of skill, which
Yeah.
can't much be said for this movie. There's
Oh,
nothing
man.
wrong. Well, you know what? There's nothing wrong with this movie per se. It does seem, however, to be going for the lowest common denominator, possibly maybe even being written. This movie seemed like it was written by AI, if that
Oh.
makes any sense. So for me, Kim, it was a total slog. I mean, I was not the audience for this movie. It seemed less as a critic, I'm going, this seems less a movie and more of like a deal that they put together, if that makes any
Mhm.
sense. Although I will say the last 10 minutes were kind of fun. If there's a message here for kids, it's one about creativity and being creative and unafraid to express yourself creatively. So that's a good thing. That's a good thing. Jack Black is at his maniacally funny best. I love Jack Black, and he's crazy in this movie.
Yeah.
Jason Momoa is he seems wasted. Jennifer Coolidge does her Jennifer Coolidge thing, but this movie, I should think, would be, as you and I were saying, is best
Mhm.
appreciated by 10 or 11-year-old boys, but hardly anyone else. So if you have a 10 or 11-year-old boy who you'd like for him to see something kind of fun and innocuous but bland, you might consider taking that 10 or 11-year-old boy to see the Minecraft movie, but
Yeah.
everybody else can skip it.
I will say that in the world of Minecraft, boys and girls seem to be sucked into this video game. So,
Yeah,
like,
well, yeah,
at
actually,
Julia's age, that
yeah.
when she was Jacob's age, she was totally into it.
Yeah,
So,
yeah, yeah. And there is a girl. There's the main boy who's I think he's about 11 or 12, and then he has a young sister too. So they
yeah.
hit all the demographics in this movie. Yeah, I like to just say, I see too many movies and I've seen it all, and this movie had nothing in it fresh or interesting. It, like I said, it seemed like it was put together as a deal to make
Mhm.
money. And I get it, the movies are a business and stuff, but I'm a critic, so I got to be critical when push comes to shove.
So
And
I'm gonna
I
say you're not recommending it unless you have a Minecraft
yes,
loving kid.
right. Like I know you're going to go see it, right? With your boy, probably.
Maybe. I'll probably wait for it to come out on video, to be
Yeah.
honest.
I'm
Yeah.
sure it's going to come out soon because I don't
Yeah.
think it's going to have a whole life in the theater. But you never know. It may click with audiences. I'm
It
not
may
a good
surprise
predictor
me.
of that. Yeah.
Next on your Tim Sika super list, Freaky Tales.
Freaky Tales. Freaky movie is this movie, Freaky Tales. It's an action comedy movie
Okay.
that has local appeal and interest because it was shot in and around Oakland, California at the Grand Lake Theater in Oakland. And it was written and directed by the filmmaking team of Anna Boden and Ryan Fleck. They've made a number of movies. None of them come to mind right now. I think they did. I think they made. Oh geez, it was a wrestling film that starred. What's his name? Yeah, the guy that was in oh jeez, what is his name? He was in La La Land. You know, the big guy, the big actor, the famous actor, blonde, tall. Come on. Oh, jeez.
That takes me a minute. I don't know.
Anyway, forget that. Anyway, this is based on Ryan Fleck's memories of growing up in Oakland, California in the 1980s. The story takes place in 1987 Oakland, described as a hella world in this movie. And the film depicts 4 interconnected stories that take place all at the same time and that were filmed at real locations and during actual historical events that happened in 1987 Oakland, California. So, Kim, this is one of those movies that when I'm on the fence about, and I was on the fence about this movie all the way through it, I try to envision it without the cast, or rather with a lesser cast, because the cast in this movie is top drawer, led by Pedro Pascal and Ben Mendelsohn and an ensemble of lesser known but equally excellent actors. So I envision the movie that I'm on the fence about with a lesser cast to see if, like, well, you know, am I missing something here? But that usually, and in this case it does, it tended to reveal what is invariably a script that is really wanting. In other words, without this top-notch cast, there's very little here to admire or recommend or grab onto for the audience member, in my opinion. This is a scruffy, ragtag indie, and I like that about it. I like that it celebrates Oakland, California, 1987 culture. It's vivid in that respect. The local color is vividly evoked. There's a cool cameo, a credited one too, in the film by a very famous actor, which is kind of fun. Mm-hmm. But what it all amounts to is like anybody's guess. There's unnecessary animation in the film. There's a lot of violence in the film, with obvious nods to Quentin Tarantino and David Cronenberg. The 4 stories aren't necessarily connected in any meaningful way. A dog is killed, thankfully off screen, and that's never fun. I just found it unmemorable, albeit, you know, reasonably stylish, but ultimately pointless. It's just a bit of indie film posturing, in my opinion. So I say skip Freaky Tales. You know, skip it. Skip it. Okay. I mean, unless you grew up in the 80s in Oakland, and you know, maybe some of this will resonate with you. It didn't with me. None of it did. It was just whatever. Who cares? Sorry,
Freaky Tales.
Sorry, Freaky Tales. I hate to be so cavalierly dismissive, but I just didn't care for it at all.
No. On to the next one, and this is a gay rom-com.
Yeah, a nice Indian boy. It's a romantic comedy, a gay romantic comedy. Mm-hmm. Actually, it could have been made. When I was watching it, I'm going, well, this could have been made for the Hallmark Channel. But it's really more of an elevated kind of rom-com, which is why it probably never went to the Hallmark Channel, which is not to disparage the Hallmark Channel. But what am I trying to say? This isn't as cheesy a rom-com as those characteristics of the Hallmark Channel Hallmark. Anyway, it's based on a play, this story, which is probably where this movie gets its oomph from. And it follows this Indian-American man. He's a doctor. Played by Indian-American actor and comedian Karan Soni, who brings his fiancée, played by the ubiquitous and very talented Jonathan Groff, who is a white man who was adopted by Indian parents, to meet his traditional but liberal-leaning Indian family. So that's the premise. And, you know, it's kind of, you know, what's not to like here? This is a sweet, kind of endearing piece. There's a sincerity about the film that's endearing. It's an easy watch. Indian culture and Indian parents are affectionately poked at. There's lots of humor in this. There's a universality to the situation. The two protagonists going through, all of the awkwardness of meeting and then splitting up, then finally realizing that they want to spend their lives together, but then having to do the parent thing, which is really the crux of a lot of the comedy in the film. The acting across the board is excellent. And there's a lot here that anybody who's, ever been in a relationship can identify with, if you like rom-coms, all's the better, whatever your sexual orientation happens to be. I think if you like rom-coms, you'll really enjoy A Nice Indian Boy. It's a very nice romantic comedy movie.
Sweet. I love it. I love how they're all in red shirts for the family shot. That's
yeah,
cute.
for the family photo. Yeah. And if you look really closely at that poster, a couple of them are kind of giving a weird expression, which if you've seen the movie, you go, oh, well, that makes
That's
sense.
funny.
It's a really sweet movie and funny too. I loved how they affectionately poked fun at the whole Indian culture, but they weren't laughing at it. They were sort of amused because of their appreciation for it. It's a nice movie. Nice movie.
Yeah. Teacher Lori makes the point Hallmark isn't ready for gay yet. She says they don't have gay protagonists on Hallmark. Sometimes, she said, they allude to gayness of minor characters. I for some reason, I thought they did have one gay movie on Hallmark.
Well, what's interesting about that? I think she's right. I think they're not ready for gay. But wasn't one
Christian network, right?
Yeah. Well, wasn't one of the actors that appeared regularly on that channel?
Yes.
He always played straight, but it turned out he was gay. I'm forgetting his name.
The major love interest, and
he's gay in real life. He's gay in real life.
He's not the only one of them.
Yeah.
There
I'm
are
sure.
multiple Hallmark actors that are gay in real life.
Yeah, so there you go, Hallmark.
Which
what is that all about?
Wonder, when they have to do the big kiss at the end with these women, are they just like holding their breath, going, gotta get through?
No, you know what? I'm sure they're good at. I'd like to think they're just good actors because you could be straight and you could be. I think it was Tony Curtis who, when he was filming the Billy Wilder comedy Some Like It Hot, he co-starred Marilyn Monroe, and he famously said after he had to do like kissing scenes with Marilyn Monroe, he said it was like kissing Hitler. So and that's Tony Curtis and Marilyn Monroe. So it goes both ways. Sometimes it doesn't matter what your sexuality is, and if you're a good actor, you can sell it. You should be able to sell it, which is why they hired you in the first place, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
anyway,
on to Tim's streaming rec of the week. You've come up with this one, and I haven't seen it, so I'm excited.
Ooh, holy cow! The Residence.
Yeah.
Probably the reason my film reviews this week are only 3 movies, because The Residence is an 8-part mystery comedy drama series. It's now streaming on Netflix. So watching all of The Residence was like, taking in 4 feature films. But was it ever worth it? This is an incredible show. The setting is the White House, The Residence of the title, and it's about this eccentrically obsessed detective. She's really kind of out there, heavily into bird watching, all of which hysterically is woven into the plot. But this eccentric detective is summoned to the White House to solve this murder that occurred during a White House state dinner. The murderer of the White House chief usher, who is the person in charge of the White House cooking and domestic staff. So he's murdered, and this woman is called in to solve the mystery. And this series, I wrote to a friend and described it and said it was like Agatha Christie on crack in a screwball comedy set in the White House where the POTUS is gay.
Wow.
It's really wild. What's really interesting is I didn't even realize it till like the 3rd or 4th episode, because they never comment on it. I'm going, oh my God. That's why I was confused. The president was the male president, and they kept referring to the first gentleman. And it's like, oh, the president is gay. Anyway, the detective here is played by, there she is in the poster. She's brilliantly played by Uzo Aduba, who's probably best known for playing Crazy Eyes Warren in Orange is the New Black. Anyway, she delivers a brilliant comic performance as the detective. It's just so comically on pitch for what they were, the kind of humor they were trying to evoke in this series. The entire cast of characters are all great, but the series pokes fun at politics, at the internecine domestic squabbles of a White House staff, at paperback mystery thrillers and Agatha Christie novels. There's a congressional hearing too in the series, convened to get to the bottom of what actually happened in the White House that night and who actually killed the White House staffer. And it's chaired here in the residence by none other than former Minnesota Senator and former comedian Al Franken. So that's really funny. And this is just one of the best series, in my opinion, that Netflix has ever produced, and one that is so funny and so twisty and so nuanced in its comedy, which is fast and furiously delivered by the actors, but it's also deadpan. There's also humor deriving from the way they edited this and the cutting back and forth between the White House staff being interrogated and the White House congressional hearing. It's actually, in terms of like craft, for anybody that is studying movie making, it's a textbook example of how film craft, in this case film editing, can provoke laughter. It's wonderful stuff, and it's a fabulous series. It's smart and it's clever and it's twisty and it's maddeningly repetitive, exhaustingly complicated, gimmicky, tricky, and also hilarious. It's nonstop laughter, which is a hard trick to pull off. It dropped on Netflix just this past Friday, and I highly recommend it. It's one of those series where, I watched it in 2 chunks, but if I had the time, what I'm saying is give yourself, the day, because I think you may want to get to the next episode right away is what I'm saying. It's really good and just hysterical and so smart. I love intelligent comedy, and this is super intelligent comedy. So
nice.
That's the Residence.
Oh, the Residence on Netflix. Okay.
Yeah,
That's on my Tim Sika list. I've got to check this out. Are you ready for it?
Oh yeah, dun, 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 dun. Where's the Imperial Margarine thing? Yeah.
This is the Tim Sika classic movie recommendation of the week, and it is Barry Lyndon.
This is one of my all-time favorite movies.
I've never even heard of this movie.
I think there's a reason for that, which maybe I can get to. But this might just be one of my own personal favorite Stanley Kubrick directed movies. It's a historical epic, which I saw way too many times during its initial theatrical run, and dozens of times after that on home video. But I chose it this week because the calendar year 2025 marks Barry Lyndon's 50th anniversary. Yeah, there's stars Ryan O'Neal. And it's one of the Kubrick movies, Kim, that when speaking of the director's output is generally, I don't want to say dismissed, but it's usually given short shrift, which is probably why you never heard of it. I'm unsure exactly why. Probably because it didn't do all that well commercially in the US, although audiences loved this movie in Europe. It was a big hit over there. But like all Stanley Kubrick movies, it continues to grow in stature with the passing of time. It's an unusual epic. There's really no other movie quite like it, no other movie that quite looks like it or is paced like it. It's kind of slow going. Every frame is like a portrait out of that era, 18th century Ireland, but it's also a hypnotic and quietly spellbinding kind of movie. It's 3 hours long. It's based on the 1844 novel, The Luck of Barry Lyndon by Thackeray, William Makepeace Thackeray. One of the authors, I think, lesser works, but one that's been elevated by this Stanley Kubrick movie interpretation. Ryan O'Neal stars in the lead, and he stars opposite Marissa Berenson, who is the noblewoman with whom he eventually marries because he wants a title of his own. He's not a very likable character. The movie is ravishingly looking. It's ravishingly photographed. Its period detail is unequaled in film history. The attention to detail in the costumes and in the production design is just breathtaking. It won four Academy Awards, including production design and costuming. It was the first film also to be shot in actual candlelight, which makes the movie look like if they had movie cameras back in the 18th century when this story takes place, and then they made movies using those cameras, this is probably the way the movies would look. And as with all Kubrick movies, Barry Lyndon was a showcase for a major innovation in film technique. A special lens was invented or creative or used somehow to where scenes could be shot in just candlelight, which was amazing. And in many ways, I should say, I'm recommending this movie, but in many ways, it's not an easy film. It unfolds gradually, and its secrets are not easily revealed. Certainly on a first viewing, you're not gonna get it all. But and it's also about an unlikable character to whom things just happen, and then he reacts to them. So Steven Spielberg once said about Kubrick that the way in which Stanley generally told his stories was sometimes antithetical to the way in which the audience is accumulated to receiving stories. That's kind of Barry Lyndon in a nutshell. It's unlike any period epic film you've ever seen, but it's also hypnotic and haunting, and a movie that really does deserve a kind of general critical reevaluation and reappraisal. But it's celebrating its 50th anniversary this year, so I'm recommending it, and also because I love it. I just love this movie.
Okay, I'm interested, and the candlelight pictures really
Yeah,
do look cool.
look at that. Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, there's a number of scenes just shot in candlelight. Like, yeah, those look like Gainsborough paintings. There's Kubrick on the left there, looking on to his actors, Ryan O'Neal and Hardy Kruger. Yeah, who plays a general. Yeah, it's a great movie, and it's a beautiful looking movie. God, it's gorgeous.
You got me on the costumes. I mean, look at that. That does not look like a movie from the 70s. That looks amazing.
Yeah, it looks like a movie from another period in time. Yeah, exactly. Just amazing film. Yeah. So
all right.
Yeah.
Barry Lyndon, the classic movie wreck of the week. Let's do a recap, a Tim Sika recap. The Minecraft movie. You said of this, it kind of seemed like it was written by AI. You called it a total slog to get through it. But you were not the target audience, which would be 11-year-olds. You say the last 10 minutes of this movie was fun. There's a good message about being creative, but alas, you cannot recommend the Minecraft movie. Freaky Tales. You said the script really leaves you wanting on this one. You like that it celebrates Oakland. You said the cast is great. There's some violence here, and even though it's stylish, it really is unmemorable. And you say not only do you not recommend it, skip it altogether. Be proactive and just don't even have it on your list at all.
Yeah.
A Nice Indian Boy. You like this gay rom-com. You said it's sweet. It's easy to watch. It's funny. The acting is excellent. And if you like rom-coms, you will enjoy A Nice Indian Boy. You recommend it. You also highly, highly recommend your streaming recommendation of the week, The Residence, which you said of this White House thriller. A great comedic performance, a great cast, funny, twisty, nuance, best series you think that Netflix has done so far, which is saying something. Smart and clever, nonstop laughter. You said not only highly recommended, you added a second highly in there. Highly, highly recommended.
Oh, I did? Yeah.
Residence on streaming. Oh, I make notes of these things.
Yeah, I see. Yeah.
To the classic movie wreck of the week, Barry Lyndon, and you said there is no other movie like this. It is spellbinding, and though it's 3 hours long, it is hypnotic and haunting. You mentioned it's the first film that was shot in candlelight, and so Barry Lyndon is your classic movie wreck of the week. Tim Sika.
Yeah, that sums it up quite well, Kim McAllister. Thank you.
Busy week.
I did. And yeah, I probably, like I said, there were still a number of movies I wanted to talk about, but no time in the week, in the busy week. Yeah.
We'll get to them next week. I'm sure we'll put them on the list eventually.
Yeah, eventually.
Yeah. At the movies with Tim Sika. Thank you.
Thank you, Kim. Talk to you next week. Bye. Have a good weekend.
That is At the Movies with Tim Sika. I'm so lucky that he comes by every Friday, 1:30 p.m. Pacific, to share the great movies and his classic movie recommendation of the week as we head into the weekend. Let's go to the chat, see if you have any messages for Tim, and skip it. Watch Breakfast at Tiffany's instead. He had already recommended that. Phineas, as a movie rec of the week. So we've already seen that one if we're following along with Tim's clock. Yeah, Barry Lyndon. I'm interested. He's got me hooked with the candlelight and with the costumes. I'm interested to see what this is about. Yeah. Karen Cooper says Barry Lyndon is scheduled on the Classic Movie Network, TCM, occasionally as well. So, yeah, very interesting. All right. The residence is great, says Teacher Lori. Love the eccentricity of this one. Rhonda says I had Indian in-laws, so maybe a nice Indian boy is for you. I was going to say a nice gay Indian boy is for you. Maybe not. I don't know. Okay, so yeah, I love that you guys participate in that segment, and thanks to Tim Sika for swinging by. Let's get to some of the stories that I had listed for you today. Among them, spiraling stars. A telescope has captured images of two stars headed toward each other for a collision. You don't see this very often, that's for sure. Out of Popular Science comes this story about astronomers who have found that we are due to be able to peek in on this rare cosmic explosion. When it blows, they say it's going to be 10 times brighter than the moon. It's a doomed pair of spiraling stars. Shouldn't that be a song, Spiraling Stars? It's 150 light years away from Earth, which means it's kind of close to us in the scheme of things. The stars in this rare high mass compact binary system are on this collision course with one another, and apparently it's going to result in a special kind of supernova. That's a song. They expect the astronomers these stars to collide as a type 1A supernova. I didn't know there were types that will shine 10 times brighter than our moon. And they've published a study on this in the journal Astronomy, dated today. So, in space, as we know, a supernova is the explosion of a star, and it's this brilliant burst of energy and light that can be so bright that it will outshine galaxies. This kind, the 1A supernova, a special type of cosmic explosion. They happen when a white dwarf, which is the dense remnant core of a star, takes in a little too much mass. And that former star then can't withstand its own gravity and kablooey, it explodes. NASA says the type 1A supernovae are rare, usually happen once every 500 years in the Milky Way. And in comparison, the general supernovae happen 2 to 3 times every century. So this is a rare one. The pair are in close orbit. The heavier of the two theoretically will accumulate material from its partner, the pull causing one or both stars to blast for the first time. This team of astronomers is observing this binary system that is destined to end in a type 1A supernova. And they say the proximity to us is an extra bonus on this one. They're excited. These researchers and astronomers, they're super excited. Right now, they're spiraling around each other, and their orbit takes about 14 hours to complete. When is this going to happen? We don't know. We don't know exactly when it's going to blast. But pretty cool, spiraling stars, and we can see that this is an impending explosion in space. Can we talk for a moment about Jesus? Now, I just want to tell you that this story came from Fox News, which immediately makes me suspect. But it looks legit enough, so I'll tell you about it. The headline is that right near where Jesus was crucified, an archaeological find. It's an ancient garden that was found in this excavation. Uh, Jerusalem's Church of the Holy Sepulchre, they call it the holiest site in Christianity. And right near this area, there are apparently a lot of surprises that are being found right near this church. I have a picture of the church, and it is beautiful and very old. One of the things they say is that this is an area, it's situated where near Christ was crucified and buried, allegedly, and that they found recent evidence of ancient olive trees and grapevines, and that these specimens date back about 2,000 years. So, there's this archaeology professor at Sapienza University of Rome. Her name is Francesca Stassola. She says the proof of this ancient garden came in the form of seeds and pollen, which they found in their work. Kind of cool. So where the area where the church stands, where the cavalry stands, had multiple uses in ancient times, including it was used as a quarry. They're still trying to figure out the exact age of all the materials they found when they were going through this zone. The area behind the quarry was used in funerary rites. So they say the quarry had to be gradually abandoned, and as the stone extraction ended, it was used for agricultural areas and tombs. And so they think that this is what it must have looked like way back when. They found ceramics and metals and glass. The excavation still underway, but they think this is significant area near the city of Jerusalem. The excavation is the first major restoration project at the Church of the Holy Sepulchre. I hope I'm saying that right. In nearly 2 centuries, they're digging in all areas of the church common to religious communities. This church, founded in 326 AD, through the original 4th century, they say the structure was destroyed in certain wars and things there. It was taken over by Christian crusaders a century later. And the still standing church, they say, is largely the work of these crusaders. So, yeah, some of the artifacts that they found go back to the Iron Age. So it's interesting what they're pulling out here. And they do say that they found this ancient garden as well. So, there you go. Never say we didn't talk about Jesus on the after party, right? When we talk about this turtle, she's a mom for the first time, and she's in her 90s. A Galapagos turtle mom. That's what we got here. 97 years old. They call her Mommy. It's her name, Mommy. She's the oldest first-time mother of the Galapagos turtle species. She's at the Philadelphia Zoo. The Galapagos tortoise species is critically endangered. So this is super cool that she becomes a mom and sets the world record for the oldest Galapagos turtle to give birth. She's got a old partner as well in his 90s, and they welcomed 4 new hatchlings into the world. Yeah. Before they gave birth to their 4 babies, Mommy and her partner Abrazo were 2 of 44 Western Santa Cruz giant tortoises in U.S. zoos. And now Mommy is one of the most genetically valuable tortoises in the Association of Zoos and Aquariums, because they've got this species survival plan, and she becomes the oldest first-time mother of her kind, which shows what's possible with this species. Mommy has been at this zoo since 1932. So if you ever visited the zoo in Philadelphia anytime in the last 92 years, you would have seen Mommy. She would have been there since 1932. The hatchlings are going to be part of a thriving population of Galapagos tortoises on this according to the zoo, on our healthy planet. 100 years from now, they will still be here. So Pretty cool. They say it took multiple attempts for mommy to get here. She's laid 3 clutches. None of them survived or ended in viable offspring. And in November of 2024, she laid 16 billiard ball sized eggs and buried them in the sand. The Galapagos tortoise gender is determined by the temperature at which they incubate. And anything below 82 degrees results in males, anything above 85 produces females. So, to help guide the chances for increased genetic diversity, the zoo's reptile and amphibian team made sure they had mommy's clutch so that half would be male and half female if they all hatched. This first new quartet arrived February 27th. Oh, you know what I forgot to show you guys? I'll do it right now. Is one of her babies. This is exciting. When you look at this baby, I mean, it's going to outlive us all. This little Galapagos turtle baby. It'll be around. Our kids might be able to go see this baby turtle. We won't be around to go see this turtle baby. Look how cute. Oh my gosh. I have to show you. Okay, so there's mommy. And there's mommy's baby. I mean, if that doesn't put you in a good mood going into the weekend, then I can't help. Like, my work here is through, party over, I don't know. They say it's a monumental achievement that their animal care team worked diligently to provide the right conditions for mommy to lay her eggs and for the eggs to incubate and then successfully hatch. Until now, mommy's genes were not represented in the population there. So these offspring become increasingly important in trying to protect this particular species. These 4 hatchlings will spend the next few weeks under the care and observation of experts before they make their public debut in April. April 23rd is when they will be on display. And then visitors have 5 years to swing by and see them before they potentially move on to different facilities where the diversified gene pool is required so that they will hopefully help bring in more generations of this critically endangered animal. Ah, the best. The best story. Love it. Love it. Love it. Okay, can we talk about this? Is another good one. Look at this cop. He's called out to round up this horse, this wayward horse on the highway. This is in Pennsylvania. And he not only rescues the horse, this petite pony that's running loose on a busy highway, but Sergeant Ted Lewis of the Westtown East Goshen Regional Police Department decided to adopt this horse as well. So he saves it from peril and then brings it home. It was so sweet. They had multiple officers in the area, but they couldn't seem to locate this horse. But he not only found the horse quickly, this sergeant formed a bond with this little miniature horse. He said, "We had a dog leash that we hooked onto her bridle, and that was it. She just walked down the street with me like it was her daily job." He said, "When I met this horse, it was just a sweet, sweet horse." The horse's name is April. It had escaped from the Horse Angels Rescue Farm one day after being surrendered to that rescue farm and managed to slip through a gate there. So they had to call out the state troopers, and they said within 10 minutes of this horse jumping in the trailer, it looks like everything was okay. So he was joking because he posted the picture on April Fool's Day that this was the first member of the police department's mounted unit. But yeah, he's taken her home and adopted her. And so April now has a new home and a new friend. So that's really nice as well. They caught a hawk that was terrorizing a village in the UK. And I know we're a little bit over time. My apologies for that. But I'll do this story because check this out. This hawk was beating up villagers in this English village for weeks. It's a Harris hawk. They said it unleashed a reign of terror on this English village, dive bombing the locals there. At least 50 dive bomb attacks on the heads of unsuspecting residents. In some cases, this hawk drew blood The mail service, the Royal Mail Service in the area had to be suspended because of the risk to the letter carriers here. They say finally this hawk was captured in a cage. Someone captured it in a cage in their backyard. And it's a relief for the whole village that this hawk was captured. Maybe they'll relocate it to an area where there's not as much stress for it. One person said, the man who caught it, his name is Steve Harris. He said, "This hawk was chasing me around the village when I went for a run. When I got back, it flew down to the top of my shed. The, he said a falconer left him a cage I was using to protect myself. I got brave enough when the bird was about a foot away and I threw it over the top of it, trapping it. And I screamed out for the falconer to come help. And he came and he tamed it." This man that caught the hawk said he had stopped his children from playing outside their home because of the presence of this aggressive raptor. He said, "We were about to pick the kids up from school. They're going to be so delighted they can actually go into the garden again." The bird is a young male, and they think maybe it was acting so aggressively because hormones, possibly. Yeah. The bird is being called fat as a barrel. You can see it is a little portly here, because it was being fed by the villagers in their attempts to try to capture it. They lay the food out and they were trying to get him, but he was too smart and too fast. So the falconer is now taking care of the hawk. There are dried out leather tags on this hawk's feet, indicating that it's been likely on the loose for more than a year. Maybe it was someone's pet. I don't know. But yeah, he's been caught now. Everything's back to normal in the English village. So phew, it's the way that goes. Man, should we end it with the lottery of the day? Let's do that. Let's end it with the lottery of the day because you guys won't believe this. We got a 3-time winner. I mean, we struggle to win anything. And here is this Maryland lottery player who just won her third $50,000 prize. She's from Owings Mills in Maryland, and she told lottery officials she exclusively buys bonus match 5 tickets and checks the winning numbers on her phone every night. This is her system. She hit the 50 grand prize in the March 29th drawing with a ticket that she bought at Royal Farms, and it was the 3rd time that she has won the bonus match 5 top prize since the mid-2000s. She said, "This game has always been my favorite." What will she do with her winnings? Going to pay some bills and use the rest to have some fun. Okay, if I'm the lottery official, I'm thinking, you've already won this 2 times before. This is your 3rd win. Maybe it's time for a little investigation into whether or not something hinky is going on here. Maybe she's really just that lucky. I don't know. Again, my super thanks, super thanks to Ren and Cameo for stopping by and saying hello on the class field trip yesterday. An absolute treat. You guys made my week, if not my month. And thank you for coming by to say hello. Super awesome. Thank you everyone for being here. I am so grateful. And again, I hope the taping worked out yesterday as well. So thank you for that. Thank you to Harry Magnan, who pops through with $5 and says, "Another great show." Thanks. Thank you, Harry Magnan. Thanks not only for being here and watching it, for supporting the show financially. You're awesome. Thank you. Nick pops through with $10 for the overtime fund. Okay, we'll take it. Nick, thank you for the $10. Very nice. To everyone who contributes the 2 ways you can, either with the super chats and super stickers here on YouTube or via PayPal. And a lot of people just set up a monthly contribution. Really appreciate that. The PayPal information is in the show description every day, and it's also in the About tab of the show here on YouTube. So thank you for that. All right, go forth. Have a wonderful weekend. Do all the good things and the fun things and watch the classic movie rec and make yourself feel really good. And I hope that you have a great weekend. I'll see you right back here on Monday. Mark Thompson Show starts at 11 a.m. on Monday, and I'll be here for it. Until then, make it a really good one. Bye, everybody.
The After Party Live would like to thank the following contributors and viewers like you.
Ah, good point. My bad. I'm sorry. And I blame you. Yes, click the like button. Click the like, please, please. Subscribe if you haven't. Thank you, SF